Storks are among the most recognizable birds on Earth, tall, long-legged, long-necked, and built with a straight, powerful bill that looks almost too heavy for the face carrying it. At first glance, they seem simple, elegant white birds on rooftops, standing in marshes, or flying in slow circles above warm countryside. But storks are not just background animals in old villages and children's stories. They are a distinct family of large wading birds called Siconiidae, with 20 living species spread across 6 genera. They belong to their own order, Siconiiformes, a group that scientists once used more broadly before moving herons, ibises, and spoonbills elsewhere. That change matters because it reminds us that storks are not just herons with different legs. They are their own evolutionary story, heavier, drier land adapted, and surprisingly influential in both nature and human imagination. Although storks are often pictured near water, they generally favor drier habitats than their relatives, such as herons, ibises, and spoonbills. A heron may seem perfectly at home stalking fish in wet reeds, but many storks are more flexible. They can forage through grasslands, open plains, farmland, shallow wetlands, river edges, or seasonally flooded areas. This preference for relatively drier places also connects to one of their unusual anatomical differences. Storks lack the powder down used by herons and some related birds to clean slime from fish. Powder down is a special kind of feather that crumbles into a fine dust, helping remove oils and residue. Storks do not rely on that system in the same way. Their feeding world is broader, less tied to slippery fish, and more open to whatever small animals the landscape provides. A stork's diet is best understood as opportunistic hunting. Most species eat frogs, fish, insects, earthworms, small birds, and small mammals. That variety is important because storks are not delicate specialists waiting for one perfect prey item. They are patient walkers and efficient grabbers. A stork may move through shallow water looking for frogs, cross a field after rain to pick earthworms, or hunt insects stirred up by grazing animals and farm activity. Some larger species, such as the marabou stork, can look almost vulture-like because they are willing to take advantage of carrion and human waste as well. This flexible feeding strategy helps explain why storks appear across many regions. They survive by reading the landscape, where water has receded, where insects are swarming, where small animals are exposed, and where an easy meal can be taken quickly. One of the most important stork behaviors is not a song, but a sound made with the bill. Bill clattering is a major form of communication, especially around the nest. Many birds depend heavily on vocal calls, but storks often use rapid snapping or clattering of the beak to signal presence, recognition, excitement, or pair interaction. Around a nest, this behavior can become part greeting, part territorial message, and part relationship ritual. The sound is sharp, mechanical, and memorable, almost like wooden sticks being struck together. It fits the visual drama of the bird, a long bill lifted, the neck drawn back or extended, and the entire body participating in the display. In species that nest in visible, elevated places, bill clattering becomes an announcement to partners, rivals, and neighbors. This nest is occupied, this pair is present, and communication is happening without a melody. Storks are famous for their flight, and their flight style reveals a great deal about their bodies. These are heavy birds with broad wings, so constant flapping would burn enormous energy. Instead, many storks use soaring and gliding flight. They rise on thermal air currents, which are columns of warm air lifting from sun-heated ground. Once a stork finds a thermal, it can circle upward with minimal effort, gaining height like a living glider. Then it can slide forward across the sky until it reaches another rising column. This method is energy efficient, especially for migration, but it depends on weather and landscape. It is one reason large soaring birds often travel by day and may avoid long crossings over cold water, where thermals are weaker. A stork in flight is not just graceful, it is solving a physics problem with wings. The scale of stork flight becomes especially impressive in the largest species. The marabou stork can reach a wingspan of about 3.2 meters, or 10 feet 6 inches, and weigh up to 8 kilograms, or 18 pounds. That puts it among the most wide-winged living land birds, alongside giants such as the Andean condor. Wings that large are not merely for show. They create lift, allow slow soaring, and help a heavy bird stay airborne without constant muscular strain. In the sky, a stork may look almost effortless, but that ease comes from a body tuned to exploit air itself. Wide wings, long limbs trailing behind, and a neck extended forward create the unmistakable stork profile. The bird becomes a cross in the sky, bill and neck ahead, legs behind, wings stretched between invisible currents. Storks even played an unexpected role in the history of human flight. In the 1880s, photographer Ottomar Anschutz produced a famous album of stork photographs that captured the birds in motion. These images inspired Otto Lilienthal, one of the great pioneers of experimental gliding in the late 19th century. Before powered airplanes, humans were studying birds intensely, trying to understand how wings produced lift and how bodies could remain stable in the air. Storks, with their broad wings and visible soaring technique, offered a natural model. Lilienthal's gliders did not copy storks perfectly, but the influence shows how closely early aviation watched living flight. A bird that villagers saw nesting on rooftops also helped shape the imagination of engineers. The stork was not only a symbol in folklore, it was part of the road toward human aviation. The nests of storks can be as impressive as their wings. Many species build large nests that may be used year after year, sometimes growing into massive structures. Some have been known to reach more than 2 meters, or 6 feet 7 inches, in diameter and about 3 meters, or nearly 10 feet, in depth. A nest like that is not a temporary cradle. It is more like an inherited platform, repaired, expanded, and reused across seasons. On rooftops, trees, cliffs, chimneys, poles, or artificial nesting platforms, these nests can become part of the human landscape. Their size reflects long-term investment. Returning to the same nest can save time and signal stability, but it also creates competition, because a good nest site is valuable. In stork life, architecture is survival, height, visibility, safety, and memory all woven from sticks. For a long time, storks were treated as perfect symbols of monogamy and devoted family life. The truth is more complicated. Storks are generally socially monogamous, meaning a male and female may form a pair bond and cooperate in nesting and raising young. But social monogamy is not the same as genetic exclusivity. Some species show regular extra-pair breeding, meaning offspring are not always produced only by the social pair. This does not make stork family life less interesting, it makes it more real. Evolution often separates cooperation from absolute fidelity. A pair may still defend a nest, incubate eggs, feed chicks, and return to familiar sites, while mating behavior remains more flexible than folklore suggests. The popular image of the eternally faithful stork contains a truth about visible partnership, but it simplifies the hidden complexity of reproduction. That simplified image helped storks become powerful cultural symbols, especially in Western folklore. Their large nests near human homes, seasonal returns, and visible care for chicks all made them easy to associate with household blessing, fertility, and family continuity. Over time, this symbolism developed into the famous story that storks deliver newborn babies. The myth is not random. Storks often appeared in spring or warmer seasons, when people already associated nature with renewal. They nested on rooftops, literally above the home. They stood tall and dignified, like solemn messengers. And because they seemed attentive to their young, they became linked with parental care. The baby delivery story is biologically false, but culturally revealing. Humans looked at a bird's habits and turned them into a comforting explanation for new life, family mystery, and social taboo. Scientists have assessed all 20 living stork species for the IUCN Red List, meaning each has an official conservation status. But even this apparently complete picture comes with a warning. Several assessments have been based on incorrect assumptions or limited information about stork habits. That matters because conservation depends on accurate knowledge. If a species is thought to be stable because its range looks broad, but its breeding sites are actually declining, danger can be missed. If migration routes, feeding patterns, or nesting success are poorly understood, protection efforts may target the wrong places. Storks are large and visible, which can create the illusion that we know them well. Yet visibility is not the same as understanding. A bird may be familiar in myth, common in postcards, and still scientifically understudied in crucial ways. The stork is a perfect example of how one animal can exist in several worlds at once. Biologically, it is a family of large wading birds with specialized bodies, flexible diets, huge nests, clattering communication, and energy-saving flight. Historically, it helped humans think about gliding and the mechanics of air. Culturally, it became a rooftop guardian, a symbol of fidelity, and the imaginary courier of newborn children. But the real stork is more interesting than the myth. It is not just a baby delivery mascot or a white shape in the sky. It is a survivor shaped by thermals, wetlands, grasslands, migration, competition, and human landscapes. To understand storks is to see how nature and culture overlap. A bird becomes a story, the story becomes a symbol, and behind the symbol, the living animal keeps moving through the air. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.